Ace rushes into Uh-Oh's sports bar, still pumped with the excitement of the mixed martial art title defense he just watched. Female lightweight MMA champion Mika James knocked the challenger out in the first round, and now he's ready for another thrill. He sits with his buddy Wallace. Did I miss anything? Wallace shakes his head. Nah, they're preparing the bowl now. Ace laughs out loud. Hilarious. The guy's going to try to swallow a bowl of slugs. Only at Uh-Oh's would they hold such a ridiculous bet. Wallace nudges Ace and levels a wager. 10-1, he pukes it out. Ace looks at the idiot in the bowl of living slugs in front of him. His instincts tell him, this guy's actually going to do it. Ace just cleaned Wallace at the MMA fight, and he doesn't mind taking more of his money. Ace scrutinizes the idiot just to make sure his gut isn't leading him astray. Most people would puke trying to swallow the first slug, but not this guy. This guy knows what he's doing. He's a winning horse, a sure thing. All right, let's say double our last bet. Wallace nods and assures him he's going to lose. Ace smirks. We'll see about that. As he stares beyond the idiot preparing to swallow slugs, he's amazed to see Mika James at the bar in her signature tracksuit. They exchange a look. He points at his fan shirt and extends a thumbs up for a great title defense, but she looks past him as she nurses a beer. Wallace sees Mika and nudges Ace. She could kick your ass in 2 licks. Ace scoffs. That's a bet you would lose, asshole. I'm double her size and strength. Wallace snickers. I say you don't last 10 minutes. Nah, you don't even last 5 minutes. Wallace is talking shit just to talk shit. Before Ace can respond, a bell sounds, and everyone goes silent as the idiot lifts the bowl of thick, moist slugs to his trembling lips. Ace stops breathing, narrows his gaze, pulls out his lucky alligator tooth, holds it in his fist, and just knows he's got a winner. In a few short minutes, he'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Come on, idiot. Swallow those slugs. Ace doesn't understand what happened. He had Wallace dead to rights. His winning horse confidently slurped down the slugs one at a time as though he were enjoying a bowl of fresh sushi. Then he stops with the last one dangling out of his mouth. Cocky little shit. He smiles and swallows. But the damn slug doesn't go down. Not as he planned. Ace can see a lump oozing and squirming down his throat. It slithers down, but it must have tickled his gag reflex or something, because he instantly loses his smile. There's a silence. The idiot begins to squirm uncomfortably in his seat. The crowd goes, uh-oh, and all of a sudden, a projectile of slug chum shoots out his mouth, and Ace hangs his head, realizing he just lost everything. Wallace laughs out loud and slaps his back. Told you so. Ace doesn't say anything. Tell you what, double or nothing if you last 5 minutes with Mika James. Ace stares up at Wallace. What's in it for you? Wallace narrows his gaze. Your lucky alligator's tooth. Ace hesitates. Wallace smiles. What? Thought you were double her size and stronger. Ace looks at Mika, at Wallace, at Mika again, and nods. I'll knock her out in 2 minutes and then buy her a drink. Wallace smiles, stands, and heads over to the manager of the club to make the arrangements. Ace stands and figures he may as well introduce himself to the champ. What the hell was I thinking? Ace staggers to his wobbly feet. Oh yeah, I wasn't. Mika steps toward him. He throws a desperate right. She ducks with a grin. He follows with a left. She sidesteps and he sees black and a few stars fading in and out of existence. What the hell did she hit me with? He doesn't know. All he knows is he's on his ass again and his eyelids feel like cement. He forces them open and stares up at the timer. 30 seconds. How can that just be 30 seconds? Either the timer is rigged or time itself is slowed down to an impossible crawl. Shit! I'm in trouble. But I ain't losing my lucky gator's tooth. He doesn't know much right now, but he knows Mika's got him outclassed in every way except guts and luck. Ace stands on wobbly legs and smiles at one of the dozen Mikas swirling around him. He regards a dozen clocks, narrows his gaze, and calculates. 4 more minutes. I can do this. The crowd is hollering and jeering. Fight, fight, fight. Ace stares at the timer and is relieved to pass the 2-minute mark. Only 3 minutes to go. He just wants to last and has completely given up on the idea of knocking Mika out. He'll be happy if he can land just one punch. He thinks he might need to grab her hair and punch below the belt just to get her to back off. But she moves faster than his eyes can track, and he's convinced his feet are turning to spaghetti. She stares at him like a hungry tiger and throws a roundhouse kick. He ducks, laughs, just as he feels her hand knit over his head and her wicked knee in his face. Black fills his vision. A moment later, he's on the ground, swirling in a pool of stars with the crowd giving him a count in unison. He's up at 5, with a fat lip and a pathetic smile. Minutes don't feel like minutes. They feel like hours, days. 3 minutes and Ace wants to throw in the towel, but his pride won't let him. His common sense is telling him to quit before she breaks another rib. He gets the sense he won't be laughing to the bank, but to the hospital. But he can't give up. He won't give up, and he certainly won't lose this bet. He's going to win, even if winning kills him. For a moment, he half remembers a quote about sitting on a stove with a pretty girl, or a pretty girl cooking at the stove, or something about a pretty girl and a stove. He's getting it all wrong, but he knows it has something to do with time. Mika smashes a fist straight into his puffy face, and he staggers back and nearly buckles over. He manages to keep his balance and tries to smile, but just as soon as his lips part, he somehow finds himself on the hard floor, staring at a crowd that seems miles away, laughing as they give him a count in unison. He rolls on his belly and pushes himself up, groggy and spaghetti-kneed. It's gonna take a lot more than that to keep me down. 2 rights and a nose that's already broken. She clearly doesn't want to lose. She wants to knock him out, but that won't happen. Ace won't let it happen. Outclassed in every way except guts, he clambers to his feet. He tries to smile at her. That didn't hurt, but it did. Really did. Before his smile breaks, he finds himself in a headlock. Shit! She's fast! Mika twirls him around like a sack of potatoes and thrusts him into a table. The table breaks. So does something in his chest. He thinks it's a rib, but he didn't think he had any more that could be broken. He gets up, manages a grin, and charges her, grabs her rock-hard arms, pins her to the wall. A surge of adrenaline fills his entire being. He's got her now. He shoots his fist out at her face. She drops to the side, and he shatters his hand against the stone wall as he feels her lift him off the ground. A moment later, she twirls and throws him into the crowd, with his broken hand swelling and throbbing with every heartbeat. The crowd scatters and lets him fall hard on the ground. Something cracks. He hopes it's not a bone. Everything is distorted. He feels like he's underwater, listening to a muted crowd hollering for him to get back up or stay down. He can't quite tell anymore. He stands and stares at the timer, feels a sharp pain in his mouth, and senses an awkward gap. My tooth! My fucking tooth! He looks around the floor and sees his front tooth lying in a glop of blood and saliva. It's still attached to the roots. He glances over the amused and entertained crowd and finds Wallace looking pale and frightened as Mika suddenly cuts through him like chaff. Ace dives under a table for refuge as Mika grabs him by the ankle and pulls him out. She lifts him over her head, twirls him, and breaks him against another table. He stands, turns to face her, shakes his head until he clears his vision. He lurches and throws a left at one of the 3 faces he sees. Mika ducks and delivers a slashing right hook to the body, then drops him with a devastating left hook. He rolls over on the ground, wheezing, feeling his jarred and jutting ribs. He probably should be dead. He doesn't even want to think about the hospital bill. Hospital? He doesn't need a hospital. He hasn't seen a doctor in 10 years and certainly doesn't need one now. His body can heal on its own. He pushes himself up but doesn't feel much below the waist. He shoots a weak punch with his good hand. Mika grabs his fist midair and crushes his fingers into a mangled mush. Mercilessly, she grabs his arm and pops his elbow. He screams with blood gurgling out of his mouth. She wants him down, even if it means killing him. Ace suddenly realizes Mika made her own bet. His entire body floods with endorphins as he wobbles around Uh-Oh's spinning floor. A glance at the timer reveals he's only got 20 seconds left. He's going to win, even if he loses every bone in his body. What more can this kitten do to me? He clambers back to his feet and smiles with blood gushing out of his mouth. She charges at him like a wildcat and is a whirlwind of devastating blows. He's hit 12 times and flattened with a wicked uppercut. The crowd is screaming and hollering for Mika to lay him out for good. But Ace won't lose his gator tooth, even if it cost him his real tooth. Seconds pass like minutes. The bell sounds. It's over. It's finally over. Ace collapses. Wallace stares down at him with a newfound respect and a wad of cash in his hands. Ace stares at the money and manages to mumble something. You bastard, you bet on me? Wallace pulls Ace up and hands him his tooth. Put this in your mouth to keep the nerves moist. Keep them there until we reach the hospital. That's one for the books, buddy. Ace shakes his head. I'm good. Don't need a doctor. Wallace laughs. Dude, you need a doctor, a dentist, and a fucking shrink.
Hey. Mm-hmm.